CPS is facing a $500 million deficit, which will leave 3,000 teachers unemployed and hold classes with an average of 35 students. How will these changes affect students and their learning experience? In recent news, CPS has made changes to the 2015-2016 bell schedule. This is to help the budget. It's going to preserve $13.5 million in the classroom. The changes to the school time is going to affect 60 high schools and 17 grade schools. CPS is making a large sacrifice in doing this change, and it's getting a lot of negative feedback from parents and school administrators. The Chicago Tribune has a list of the increase in cuts of the budget for schools in the city. Schools like Julian High School are facing major budget cuts.
It's not fair to keep pouring so much money into one school and then nothing into the other one. How do you expect for that other school to ever do in any way, form, or fashion as well as the other that's getting all the money? That's so frustrating.
The school where I used to work at now, the teachers clean the building because they cut all the funding to janitors.
Pavlin Jankov, researcher for the Chicago Teachers Union, gave his input on the current budget issues.
Several years in a row now, CPS has claimed that they're balancing their budget by keeping the impact away from the classrooms, right? They've been saying that they've sort of cut things from central office and done things to minimize the impact on students and communities, but we know that's not true. And so, the bell schedules, perhaps relative to other issues, like, for example, the school closings, which are highly disruptive, the bell schedules might be a small thing, but I think that's actually, it's an indication of how CPS wants to cut corners.
A smaller homeless population of students, and they missed a testing criteria by 0.2%. We were behind, and so they cut 3 jobs. I should be able to go to the school that's a block away and know that my kids will get a good, safe education, and I couldn't do that. They had a 60-kid waiting list, and the gang violence was really, and that's just a mile away from here, and I couldn't get my kids into the neighborhood school.
CPS teacher Mrs. Harris gave her input on the 2015 bell schedule change.
Right. I think that, how I feel about that, I think that them starting later and ending, I think the problem is ending later for kids, because in the winter time and things like that, it gets dark sooner, and you're going to have kids out late, and a lot of after school, I think it's going to affect a lot of after school programs, because it's going to shorten the amount of time that kids have available to do extracurricular activities, especially if they're not on site.
Don't do it. The only reason I went there was because that was the only school I got into. Their school is not as good as you think it is. Yeah, they may have good academics, but they're suffering in other levels too. And the only reason people want to go to Morgan Park is because of their sports. But other than that, don't do better than what I did.
After 88 students answered a survey, 74% disagreed with the change, while 26% agreed. Majority of students, parents, and administrators do not support CPS's decision. In more recent news, CPS has come to a compromise to restore 34 of the schools that will be affected and will keep their same schedule for the next year. CPS losing the game.